talk with your partner about the two problems we see here and some of the differences you notice, some of the things that were the same, how you might solve them. Okay? Brian V.
4.
You forgot? Okay. Well, let's read them. The first one says, Annabelle has 4 boxes of donuts. Each box has 6 donuts. How many donuts does she have? So I want you to talk for a minute. What kind of operation would you use to solve this problem? Make sure you're talking to your partner.
Can we use the model?
Talking with baby too. Can you give me that?
Even though someone says the same thing, and I think number 2. It has the answer 24.
All right, give me 5.
Because it's locked.
Give me 5. Okay, so what operation are you thinking you would use? I'll tell you what, everyone, pass your homework notebooks to the end of the table, please. And I'd like any pencils that you have to go in the cup, any erasers you have, you should go in the cup. Let's get everything back because I don't want anyone distracted while we're going over this. This is something that we had a little bit of a problem with. So we're going to go over how you know when something is division, how you know when it's multiplication. But right now, we're looking at, just to get us started thinking for our problem of the day, what operation would you use to do this first problem? Okay, and I pulled out from here, Brian R. So tell us, what operation would you use for that first one? What model would you use? What kind of operation? Does everyone remember the 4 operations? What's one? Division's one. Ronnie?
Subtraction.
Subtraction is one. Annabelle?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. Abby? Division we said, multiplication, subtraction, and Jamie?
Addition.
Addition. Those are our 4 operations, right? And we've been focusing on 2 operations for the last few weeks. What 2 operations have we been looking at? Danita, what's one of them? What have we been studying? I need you to sit up, Brian, I need you to sit up. Multiplication is one. What's another one? Mia? Division. Those are the 2 that we've been looking at. So which of those operations would you use for the first one? What do you think? Osvaldo, what did you guys talk about? Multiply? Okay. What numbers would you multiply? The 6 and the 4. Did anyone get something different?
No.
6 and the 4, right? Okay. And then what strategy did you use to solve that problem? Elisa? No? I'll tell you what, let's take 3 seconds. Talk to your partner. Remember, there's a place in the room where we have posted all our multiplication strategies. And let me know which one you would use.
You can use
Multiplication strategy. You guys know where you would look?
No, if you want
Multiplication strategies are?
Which one is the array?
Subtraction.
I want repeated array.
Addition. Okay. Alright, give me 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what is the strategy that you would use? Where did it go? Raul. Repeated addition. So in that case, what numbers would we be adding? We're going to do 4 plus 6. 6 plus 6 4 times. Partner? 6, right. 6. Well, we're going to do 6. It's like 6 groups of 4. 6 fours. So we're going to do 4 plus 4 plus 4. 24. Okay. And if you needed help making sure that you were adding all the numbers correctly, where could you look in the classroom to help you add? Daneta, where could you look in the classroom to help you add? Over there? That would help you multiply. Right, everyone point to the hundreds chart. Point to the hundreds chart. That can help you add, right? 4. All you have to do, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now let's talk with your partner about this second one. What operation would you use? What would your sentence be, your number sentence be, and what's the strategy for solving it?
You need to do the division sentence. You should do the division sentence. Oh, that's the division. You should do division. Yeah. And then you can use the repeated. This kind of for this subtraction. Yeah, and the second one, the bottom of the same or different? Repeat it. Okay.
Okay, give me 5. So who remembers from all the problems we did yesterday, what operation are we doing here? Janie?
We're doing multiplication.
Multiplication. Who agrees multiplication? Okay, who thinks division? Division. Okay, division people. Why do you think division? Ronnie?
Because it starts with the, because if you're gonna write a division sentence, it said there are 24 donuts, so that's the total. So you're gonna begin with the total, so I think division.
It's division. That's how you would know, right? Here you already know this answer that we got that was the total.
Yeah, because I was.
Here we already know it gives us the total. So when we have the total, we know that's going to be division. Okay? So what strategy? Over there. What strategy would you use to solve this? Mia? Repeated subtraction you could do. So how would you start off with that? What number do you start with? 24, perfect. Minus 4, right? 20, and then what do we do? What do we subtract? 4. 16 minus 4 equals 12. divided by 4. So is our answer 0?
No.
Alright, I'm going to ask a question, and I want no one to answer until I call on you. Okay? How do we know, after we do the repeated subtraction, how do we know what the answer is? Danita? What about the subtraction sign? You need to count them, right? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So we got the multiplication and we got the division. Okay? Now, who remembers when we do division? So this was a pretty tough problem of the day, but I'm glad we got through it. Now let's talk about to lunch. You guys always want to eat lunch. What is
When is Jupiter and Mars going to eat with you? Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, I was just noticing that when I was erasing.
With Jupiter and everything else on the ground.
Give me 5. An emergency? Okay, go ahead. So we've been doing division and multiplication for a while now, and I think you guys are starting to get the hang of it. But I was noticing in your word problems that it's kind of tough, and for everyone it's kind of tough sometimes to tell the different situations when you would need multiplication or when you would need division. Okay? And I know we talked a little bit yesterday when we were over there about times when you would need division. So I want you to talk to your partner. Talk about a time when you would need multiplication and a time when you would need division.
What time would you need division?
Okay, I want to see partners talking together. When would you Okay, give me 5. So what's the time when you think you would need multiplication? Over here, right here. Abraham, when's the time you might need, or you and Abby, whoever had an idea, might need multiplication?
When we use it
When would you use it?
in math.
In math, but in your real life.
Like we have 20 cookies and 4 kids.
Uh-huh.
And then each kid gets 4 cookies.
Okay, so if you have 20 cookies and you're trying to share them, so let's think about that for a minute. If you're trying to share something, you have a total and you're going to share it, then do you need multiplication or division?
Division.
Division. Let's think about our definition of division, okay? Remember, you're separating into equal groups, okay? Everyone say it.
Separating into equal groups.
When you do division, you are
Separating into equal groups.
point to where it says separate into equal groups. Okay. Yeah, we're all pointing. I need you to participate, okay? So when you think division, you want to think about starting with a total, and then you want to think about separating that into groups. Okay? Now let's think, so I think what you were doing, right, with the 20 cookies, Is that more like division? If you had 20 cookies and you have to share them, separate them equally with 4 kids? Okay. Who has an idea about a multiplication situation? Uh-huh.
There are 16 kids or 16 kids.
Uh-huh. All right, let's think about it a second. Hang on. We talked about how the division is separating into equal groups. Remember, multiplication is combining equal groups. Everyone say combining equal groups.
Combining equal groups.
Multiplication is combining equal groups. Okay. So let's think of a time. Talk with your partner. When would you need to combine equal groups? Talk to your partner real quick.
When there's 8 kids and they each get 6 cookies.
Benita, I need you talking for a while.
They get all together. 6 cookies.
But when would you do that in your life?
I would do like if there was 16 cupcakes. And there was 16 cupcakes. There are if there's some of each.
I think it was
But it's not even on
Venus over there. I put it right here, and you're lucky. We're doing math right now. So multiplication situation in real life. In real life, what do we have? Kaylani, when would you use multiplication? You're making it even harder. We're not going to get to that kind of problem until next week. Okay, Ronnie?
It's like when you're trying to, it's like there was 8 kids and they each get 6 cookies. How many cookies did they get all together?
All together. Perfect, right? So you have a number of groups. You have a certain number that are in each group, and you end up with a total. Okay? Annabelle?
There's like 8 kids and there are 2 and you give 2 to each kid.
Uh-huh.
How many are there?
How many? So if we have 8 kids, and we give 2 what to each kid?
2 cookies to each kid.
Then, what's your question? How many cookies would you need? Okay. So today we're going to work on you guys writing your own problems. You guys have done some multiplication and division, but we need to kind of make sure we're getting very certain how they're different and what the connection is between division and multiplication. Okay? So today I want someone to give me 2 numbers that we can multiply together. 2 numbers we can multiply together. Let's see. Mia. Oh, let's try another one. Let's do Elisa. 2 numbers we can multiply together. 6 and another one that size. 6 and 5. Okay, so we're going to use 6 and 5. So first we're going to try and come up with a multiplication problem that's going to involve the number 6 and 5. So if we know it's a multiplication problem, are we starting off with a total?
Yes. No, it's multiplication.
Who says we're starting off with a total? when you're doing multiplication, do you start out with a total, or are you trying to find the total? You're trying to find the total, okay? So we're using 6 and 5. Do we already kind of know what our multiplication sentence is going to be?
Yeah.
Talk with your partner real quick. What do you think our multiplication sentence is going to be? All right, give me 5. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Jasmine, what is our multiplication sentence? Say again? 6 times 5. That's how it's going to start out, right? Does anyone think it might be something different? No, not equal to. Is there another way we could write that sentence?
Yes, you could write 5 divided by, 5 times 6.
It could be 5 times 6, okay? So for right now, we're going to go 6 times 5. So remember, you always want to remember when you're doing multiplication, this is how many groups, and this is the number, right, in each group. Does everyone remember that from our anchor chart over there? You can look and see anytime. Question? You know what the answer is? Okay. Well, first, when I'm making my, when I'm going to write my problem, my multiplication problem, and I know what numbers I want to use, but I still need to figure out the answer, then what I like to do is use a strategy to figure out the total. Okay? So what's a strategy we could use? Alexa? We could draw a model of groups. Okay. So how many groups would we draw?
5.
Do we have 5 groups? 6. Okay. Does everyone see how we know how many groups to draw? Is it the first number or the second number? Brian beat? Alright, listen to the question again. Are we looking at the first number or the second number to figure how many groups to draw?
The first number?
The first number, 6. So we're going to draw 6 groups. Alright. What does the second number tell us?
How much you're going to put in?
How much you put in each group?
5 in each.
5 in each. Okay. So, Annabelle, I would have liked it better if you raised your hand, but she had a good comment. Because it's 5, we're going to just be able to count by 5s, but you could also count each dot, right? You could also do repeated addition. But here we'll just count by 5s. 5,
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Equals to 30.
30. Okay? So now, when we're doing our problem, we have the numbers that we know we're going to start with. Now comes the hard part. You got to think of something, think of a situation when you would use multiplication. Okay? So we already had one where we had 4 kids. They each need 6 cookies. What's the total number of cookies they need?
8 and 2 equal.
Okay? Now we need to think of a situation where you're going to combine, right, to get a total. Combine equal groups to get a total. So talk to your partner real quick. Think about a situation where you would need to do that.
If you're
What is
trying to
combined?
figure out,
Good question. Give me 5, 3, 2, 1. What does combine mean? Abraham? Like you're putting it together. So you're going to put together equal groups. Okay? So talk to your partner. When would you put together equal groups?
when you put together,
Together equal groups.
You're going to use it in
So I
a
can call it?
situation. I think you're going to use it in the situation if. Dude, that's pointing finger.
All right, let's see. Alexa, what do you think? Uh-huh. When would you use this? Well, it is a repeated addition problem. We had cookies. What's something else that we might enjoy playing with or eating or doing? What do you think Abigail sees? What's the thing that's fun? Video games, Barbies, chocolates, cookies, horses. Okay. So we're going to say there are how many horses?
120.
Let's think about what numbers are we working with right now?
6 and 5.
Okay? And we already know the total is 30. Are we going to start out with 30?
No. That's if there are. That's if it's division.
Only if it's division, right? Oh, we're going to have to get ready for lunch, guys. So let me have you. Does anyone need to get a lunch out of your backpack? Okay. Let me have my line leaders to the door. Remember, we're going to walk quietly. We're going to walk. I need my line leaders to the door. My expectation is that everyone is going to walk quietly to the door. And I'm going to need first Jupiter.
No, Jupiter in the
I'm sorry, morning Jupiter. That's Alexa, Mia, and Jamie, and Roberto's not here. And then I need afternoon, Mars. So that's gonna be Abraham. We're missing Roberto.
And then
Okay.
Bernard go to the.
And let me have Venus now.
No.
And let me have Jupiter.